Have you ever stood in your kitchen, looked at a basket of fruit, and thought to yourself, is any of this actually doing me any good anymore? I mean really, after 60, when the body isn't quite what it used to be, does it even matter what you eat? Or is fruit just fruit? Let me tell you something you might not hear often enough. Yes, it matters more now than ever. See, when you were younger, your body could get away with a lot. Skipping meals. Grabbing whatever was quick. Even forgetting fruits altogether some days. But now? After 60, your body's become like a finely tuned instrument. Sensitive. Fragile in some ways, yes, but also powerful. And the fuel you give it? It decides everything. Now, here's the part that most people miss. Some fruits? They're not just tasty little treats. They are natural medicine. Memory boosters. Energy revivers. Inflammation fighters. Even protectors of your heart, your bones, your eyes, your mind. You could have one of them sitting on your counter right now, doing nothing. And all it takes is knowing how to use it right. So if you care about keeping your energy up, protecting your body from illness, and staying sharp, mobile, and strong, then this video might be one of the most important ones you watch today. Because by the time we're done, you'll know the 8 best natural fruits seniors like you should be eating every single day. Not trendy. Not exotic. Just powerful, real foods that support your health in ways you've probably never even imagined. One of them could help ease your joint pain. Another might just wake your brain up like it hasn't felt in years. So before you take another bite, let's take a deeper look. And hey, if you're serious about taking charge of your health after 60, or you're helping someone you love do just that, comment vitality below so we know we're in this together. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Elder Mature Moments, where every video is a step toward a longer, stronger, wiser life. Let's dive in. Let's start with a little story. Evelyn is 72. She's the kind of woman who used to have a mind like a steel trap, sharp, witty, never missed a thing. But lately, little things were slipping. Her keys started going missing. Then one day, she forgot her own daughter's birthday. She laughed it off, said she was just tired. But deep down, it shook her. Now, her grandson, bless him, he'd been reading about nutrition. He came over one morning, set a bowl of oatmeal in front of her, and quietly topped it with a handful of blueberries. No lecture. No fuss. Just love. Weeks passed. Then months. And Evelyn? She started remembering things again. Nothing dramatic. Just little wins. Names came quicker. Conversations flowed easier. Even her doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So, what was it about those tiny berries? Blueberries are nature's brain food, especially for older adults. They're packed with something called anthocyanins, a powerful antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. In simple terms, they fight off the kind of wear and tear that leads to memory loss and cognitive decline. Now, here's the kicker. Most people think that once memory starts slipping, it's all downhill from there. They believe only pills or prescriptions can help. But that's just not true. Mother Nature has her own pharmacy, and blueberries are sitting right there on the top shelf. You don't need to make a big production out of it either. Just toss a handful, fresh or frozen, into your morning oatmeal, a cup of yogurt, or even a smoothie. No sugar. No syrup. Just the real deal. Because when it comes to your brain, every bite matters. And the best part? This is only the beginning. Because if blueberries are the silent guardians of your memory, the next fruit? It just might be your secret weapon against daily aches and stiff joints. Let's talk about something tropical. Something sweet. Let's talk about papaya. Now, I want to introduce you to Mr. James. A retired mechanic in his late 60s. Tough as nails, always fixing something, even if it didn't need fixing. But arthritis? That was the one thing he couldn't tighten a bolt on. His knees were the worst. Mornings were stiff. Evenings were worse. Getting up off the couch became a chore. And walking to the mailbox? That took effort. He'd tried creams, heat pads, even cut back on his beloved garden work. Nothing made a real difference. Then one day, his neighbor, a woman from the Caribbean, handed him a small container and said, "Try this with breakfast. Just trust me." Inside? Bright orange slices of papaya. Now James, being James, chuckled. "Fruit ain't gonna fix my knees," he muttered. But out of respect, he tried it. And here's the surprising part, after a couple of weeks, something changed. He was moving easier. Standing up without groaning. Even bending down to tie his shoes without that stabbing jolt of pain. It wasn't a miracle. It was papaya. So, what makes this tropical fruit such a game-changer for inflammation? Papaya is packed with vitamin C, which we know is good for the immune system. But the real star here is an enzyme called papain. Papain works like nature's anti-inflammatory agent. It helps break down proteins and soothe inflamed tissues, especially in joints. In other words, it gently cools the fire that causes stiffness and pain. Now here's the thing, most people chalk up inflammation to just getting old. They say, "Oh, it's arthritis," or "That's just how it is at my age." But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Inflammation is the body's way of responding to damage. But when it sticks around too long, that's when trouble starts. And the truth is, what you eat can either fuel that fire or help put it out. Papaya is one of those foods that cools the flames. You don't need much. A few slices in the morning. Blend it into a smoothie. Eat it plain after dinner. Just make sure it's ripe. Soft, sweet, and ready. It's not about replacing your treatments. It's about supporting your body with what it already understands, real food. And when you start to feel the difference, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. Now, let's keep this momentum going. Because if papaya helps with movement, the next fruit we're going to talk about, it supports something even more critical, your heart. Quietly. Powerfully. Every single day. Let's talk about the bold, beautiful pomegranate. Let's shift gears for a moment, and talk about the heart. Not just the beating organ in your chest, but the very thing that keeps you waking up each morning, walking the dog, playing with your grandkids, taking quiet strolls, and enjoying a cup of tea while watching the sunset. Now meet Thomas. A 68-year-old with a strong spirit, but a not-so-strong heart. He'd had what doctors call a minor scare, tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, nothing catastrophic, but enough to shake him. He was told to walk more. Watch his stress. And, of course, eat better. So Thomas did what many of us do, he cut back on fried foods, started going for walks in the morning. But he also added something simple to his daily routine that most people overlook, a small glass of pomegranate juice. Every morning, before coffee, before breakfast, he'd pour a little into a glass, sip it slowly, and go about his day. A few months later, he returned for his checkup. And when his blood work came back, the doctor raised an eyebrow. Cholesterol levels? Improved. Blood pressure? Lower. Circulation? Stronger than before. Now, Thomas didn't do anything extreme. He didn't go vegan or start running marathons. He just added one of the most heart-loving fruits known to mankind. See, pomegranates are loaded with polyphenol, a type of antioxidant that supports healthy blood vessels, improves circulation, and helps lower blood pressure. They also help prevent the buildup of plaque in the arteries. Something especially important after 60. But here's the sad part. Many seniors skip pomegranate. Why? Because it's messy. Hard to open. Seeds get everywhere. So they just avoid it altogether. But avoiding it means missing out on one of nature's most powerful tools for heart health. So here's the simple fix. If the seeds feel like too much trouble, go for 100% pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. Just a small glass a day. That's all it takes. Or if you enjoy a bit of crunch in your meals, sprinkle the seeds on a salad, in your oatmeal, or even on toast with a bit of soft cheese. And don't worry about perfection, just consistency. Because every drop of that juice, every spoonful of those ruby red seeds, they're helping your heart stay strong, open, and alive. Now, we've covered the brain with blueberries, the joints with papaya, and the heart with pomegranate. But there's something else that begins to fade with age, sometimes so slowly, we don't even notice until it's too late. I'm talking about your vision. So let's move from the heart to the eyes. And explore the bright, familiar fruit that's been helping seniors see the world more clearly for generations. Let's talk about oranges. Let's talk about something we often take for granted, until we can't anymore. Your vision. The ability to read a recipe, enjoy a good book, recognize a familiar face across the room. It's something so simple, so automatic, until the print starts to blur, or the light feels too harsh, or you find yourself squinting to make out what's right in front of you. Now, let me tell you about Maria. Maria's always loved to read. Novels, poetry, even the backs of cereal boxes if that's all she had. But lately, things were different. The pages weren't as clear. The words seemed to shift. And reading before bed? It gave her a headache instead of comfort. She was convinced she just needed stronger glasses. Maybe even a new prescription. But then, her granddaughter, sharp as ever, sat her down and said, "Grandma, remember how you used to drink orange juice every morning when I was little?" Maria smiled. "Try it again," her granddaughter said. "Just trust me." So, Maria did. Every morning, she peeled a fresh orange, or poured herself half a glass of natural, unsweetened juice. Nothing fancy. Just the old habit revived. Weeks went by. And guess what? That eye strain? The dryness? The blurry edges? They started to ease. Now, let's talk about why. Oranges are more than just a source of vitamin C. They're filled with carotenoids, including one called lutein, which is crucial for maintaining eye health, especially as you age. You see, the eyes, just like any other part of your body, are vulnerable to damage from time and stress. And one of the biggest threats after 60 is something called age-related macular degeneration. It creeps in slowly, dimming your central vision, making it harder to focus, harder to drive, harder to recognize the people you love. But the nutrients in oranges act like a shield, protecting the delicate tissues of the eye from oxidative damage. Now, here's the misconception. So many people think the only fix for poor eyesight is a new pair of glasses. And yes, corrective lenses help, but they don't prevent damage. They don't nourish your eyes from the inside out. But foods like oranges? They do. So here's the simple advice: eat one fresh orange a day, or enjoy half a glass of real, unsweetened orange juice with breakfast. Don't overdo it, too much juice can spike blood sugar. But a modest daily serving? That's eye-loving gold. And let's not forget the bonus. All that vitamin C. It also supports your immune system, helping your body stay strong during cold and flu season. And that brings us to something else. Because there's one thing that often slips under the radar in senior health, but it affects everything from immunity, to energy, to how your body feels day to day. I'm talking about digestion. And if you've ever felt bloated, sluggish, or just not quite right in your belly, then this next fruit might become your best friend. Let's head back to the tropics. Because it's time to talk about the humble, dependable banana, your gut's quiet little hero. Let's talk about something a little less glamorous, but very real: digestion. If you've ever found yourself feeling bloated, backed up, or just off in your gut, you're not alone. In fact, many seniors struggle quietly with sluggish digestion, sometimes for years, thinking it's just part of getting older. But let me introduce you to Harold. Now Harold's a good man. Always punctual, always polite. But for the longest time, he had a secret. He relied on laxatives. Not just once in a while. Every single week. He tried teas, powders, even the chalky stuff doctors prescribe. It worked, kind of. But the cramps, the timing, the unpredictability, it was exhausting. Then one day, during a routine visit, his doctor asked him a simple question: "Harold, are you eating enough bananas?" Harold laughed. Bananas? What do they have to do with anything? Turns out, everything. Because within 2 weeks of eating just one banana every morning, Harold's system found its rhythm again. No pills. No powders. Just a fruit that most of us walk past in the grocery store without thinking twice. So let's talk science. Bananas are rich in soluble fiber, specifically a type called pectin, which helps regulate digestion. Think of it like a gentle broom, sweeping your digestive tract clean, keeping things moving in the way they're meant to. They're also loaded with potassium, which doesn't just help with your heart, it also supports your muscles, including the ones in your digestive system that help move food through your body. Now, here's a common misconception. Some folks avoid bananas because they think they're too sugary. But let me clear this up: the natural sugars in bananas come wrapped in fiber. And that fiber helps slow down how fast the sugar hits your bloodstream. So instead of a spike, you get steady energy, and a happier gut. So how do you fit them in? Easy. Start your day with one. Slice it on top of whole grain toast with a little nut butter. Add it to your oatmeal. Or just grab one and eat it on the go. It's not just about going to the bathroom more regularly, although that's a blessing in itself. It's about reducing bloating, improving nutrient absorption, and helping your whole body feel lighter, less weighed down. Because when your gut is happy, the rest of your body notices. Now that we've cleared the path for better digestion, let's talk about balance. Blood sugar, energy, sweet cravings. Because the next fruit is one of the smartest swaps you can make if you're trying to stay sharp and stable throughout the day. Let's sweeten things up, gently, with a fruit that actually helps control sugar levels, not spike them. Let's talk about apples. Now let's talk about cravings. That sweet tooth? It doesn't go away with age. In fact, for many, it becomes even stronger. Comfort foods, pastries, cookies, they're often tied to memories, to feelings of warmth, love, and tradition. And that brings us to Agnes. Agnes has always had a soft spot for sweets. A little cake with tea in the afternoon, maybe a biscuit or two after dinner. But then came the diagnosis: type 2 diabetes. Suddenly, all the things that brought her joy were now a threat. She was devastated. How do I enjoy food now? She asked her dietitian. Her dietitian didn't hand her a list of forbidden foods or a pile of supplements. She handed her a single suggestion: swap your pastries for apples. At first, Agnes was skeptical. How can something so simple, so ordinary, satisfy me the way my favorite desserts used to? But she gave it a shot. She started slicing up a crisp apple in the afternoon. Sometimes she'd add a small handful of almonds, or a smear of peanut butter. And over time, not only did her blood sugar improve, She found that those cravings became easier to manage. She wasn't giving up sweets. She was giving her body smarter sweets. Let's look at the science. Apples have a low glycemic index, which means they don't cause your blood sugar to spike the way refined carbs do. And they're rich in pectin, a special kind of soluble fiber that slows digestion and stabilizes blood sugar levels. It's like giving your body a slow, steady stream of energy instead of a chaotic sugar roller coaster. But here's the mistake so many people make: they peel the apple. Now I get it. Maybe it's a texture thing. Maybe it's a habit. But the skin is where many of the antioxidants and fiber live. Peeling it? That's like buying a book and tossing out the best chapter. So here's what you do: eat the apple whole, skin on. Pair it with a small handful of nuts, almonds, walnuts, or even a slice of cheese. That combination of fiber, healthy fat, and natural sweetness gives your body what it needs without the blood sugar crash later. It's not about cutting out joy. It's about finding new forms of it. And believe me, once you get used to that natural crunch, that slow sweetness, you won't miss the pastries. Now, we've covered a lot. From the mind, to the joints, to the heart, eyes, digestion, and now blood sugar. But there's still a part of the body we haven't touched yet, something that quietly supports everything else as we age. Your bones. Because staying on your feet, avoiding falls, and keeping your independence all come back to one thing: bone strength. So let's keep the sweetness rolling, with a small, bright green fruit that's not only delicious, but one of the best kept secrets for strong bones. Let's talk about kiwi. Let's talk about something many people don't realize until it's too late: bone strength. You don't really notice your bones when they're doing their job right. They hold you up. Keep you moving. Keep you safe. But one fall, one misstep, and suddenly, you feel every ounce of what you've lost with age. That's exactly what happened to Doris. She was 74. Still independent. Still active. Then one rainy morning, she slipped on her porch. Caught herself, but not fast enough. She fractured her wrist. It wasn't just the pain, it was the frustration. The fear. What if next time, it's my hip, she whispered. She didn't want to rely on pills forever. She didn't want to feel like her body was crumbling under her. So, she asked a simple question: what else can I do? And that's when someone introduced her to something small, green, and fuzzy: kiwi. Now, Doris had seen kiwi in the supermarket. But it always looked a little too exotic. Too unfamiliar. "Isn't that the weird fruit with the fur?" she asked. Yes. And it's also a bone-building powerhouse. Because here's what most people don't know: kiwi is loaded with vitamin K, which helps your body use calcium more effectively. It also packs a punch of vitamin C, which supports collagen production, and collagen is what gives your bones flexibility and strength. So, while Doris still took her supplements, she also added half a kiwi to her breakfast. Sometimes with yogurt. Sometimes just sliced and eaten with a spoon. And little by little, her body started to feel more stable, more supported. And that fear she had? It didn't disappear. But it stopped holding her back. Here's the thing: a lot of folks think kiwi is some complicated, tropical fruit you need a guide to figure out. But truthfully, it's one of the easiest fruits you'll ever eat. You can scoop it out with a spoon, slice it in half, or even eat it with the skin if you don't mind a little texture. It's completely edible, full of fiber, and very gentle on the digestive system. The flavor? Sweet, slightly tart, and incredibly refreshing. The size? Perfect for adding to a small plate or snack bowl. And the benefit? Stronger bones. Better balance. Less fear with every step you take. So whether you've had a fall or you just want to make sure you never do, kiwi might be the tiny fruit with mighty strength your bones are craving. And now, we come to the final fruit on our list. We've covered brain, heart, eyes, digestion, blood sugar, and bones. But what about all of you? What about the fruit that helps your skin glow, your joints move, your energy rise, and your body stay young, from the inside out? Because this last one, it's the king. The crown jewel of aging well. And chances are, you've already had it. But maybe, just maybe, you didn't realize what it was truly doing for you. Let's talk about avocado. Let's close with the fruit that surprises people the most. Because for years, we were told the word fat was something to fear. Low fat this. Fat free that. And somewhere along the line, we started believing that anything creamy, rich, or satisfying must be bad for us. But then came George. George was 69, recently retired, and feeling, well, worn out. He wasn't sick, exactly, just tired. No energy. Stiff joints. A brain that felt foggy more days than not. He was watching his weight, skipping oils, cutting back on anything fattening. He thought he was doing everything right. Until one morning, his daughter served him a slice of whole grain toast. But instead of butter, it was topped with something smooth, green, and unfamiliar. Avocado. George raised an eyebrow. Isn't this too fatty for me? His daughter just smiled. Just try it. So he did. And that one little breakfast? It started something. A week later, he noticed his joints didn't ache so much in the morning. 2 weeks in, his afternoon naps became shorter, because he wasn't as tired. And a month later, his doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep it up. What George had discovered was a truth too many people miss. Not all fats are bad. In fact, some are essential, especially as we age. Avocados are packed with monounsaturated fats. The kind that support your heart, fuel your brain, and lubricate your joints. They're also rich in B vitamins, which help convert food into energy. And they provide a generous dose of potassium, even more than bananas, which helps regulate blood pressure and reduce muscle cramps. But here's where most folks go wrong: they still see avocado as something fattening. Too rich. Too indulgent. But the truth? Avocados are a weight manager's best friend. Because the healthy fats they contain actually keep you full longer. They reduce sugar cravings. They stabilize your blood sugar. And they give your body the kind of clean energy that lasts all day, without the crash. And they're so easy to work with. Mash half an avocado onto a slice of whole grain toast. Add a sprinkle of salt, maybe a slice of tomato, or even a poached egg on top if you're feeling fancy. Slice one into a salad, or blend it into a smoothie for a creamy texture you won't even taste. You can even eat it straight with a spoon and a little lemon juice. This isn't about trends. This isn't about fads. This is about giving your body the kind of nourishment it understands: simple, real, whole food, that works with your body instead of against it. Because avocado isn't just a fruit. It's a daily gift to your brain, your heart, your joints, your energy. It's nature's way of saying, you're not done yet. So, if you've been avoiding it, maybe it's time to make room on your plate. Because this one small fruit might just be the missing link between where you are, and how vibrant, alive, and strong you can still feel. And now that we've walked through all 8 of these powerful, natural fruits, each one with its own role, its own gift, its own purpose in helping you age not just longer, but better. Let's take a breath. Because the next part? It's the most important of all. We're going to talk about what all of this means, on an emotional level. What it means to take back control. To fight for vitality. To live with intention. It's time for a moment of truth. Let's step into the emotional climax of this journey, together. It's not easy, is it? Watching yourself, or someone you love, slow down after 60. You start noticing the little things, the way you get out of bed a bit slower. The way stairs seem longer than they used to. The way you forget a name you've known your whole life. And it hurts. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because aging can feel like a quiet loss. A loss of strength, of independence, of control. But here's something I want you to hear, clearly, and deeply. Every wrinkle tells a story. A story of life, of love, of lessons learned. But now, you get to decide what the next chapter says. Because every piece of fruit we've talked about today, from the brain-boosting blueberries to the heart-loving pomegranate, from the bone-strengthening kiwi to the energy-rich avocado, they're not just snacks. They're tools. They're hope, disguised as food. So instead of fearing what's ahead, what if you use these fruits to take your power back? Not with pills. Not with complicated diets. Just with nature's medicine, grown from the earth, waiting patiently on your plate. Take a moment, today. Go to your kitchen. Open your fridge. Look at your counter. Are any of these 8 fruits in your home? If not, start with just one. One change. One new habit. Because that small act, it's a whisper to your body that says, I still care. I still want to fight for my health. I'm not done yet. You're not too old to thrive. Not too far gone to feel strong again. Not past the point of feeling alive, truly alive, in your own skin. Every bite you take from here on out can be a step toward a longer, stronger, more vibrant life. And you deserve nothing less. Let's take a moment to breathe, and bring it all together. To recap, we've walked through 8 powerful, everyday fruits, each with its own special gift for the body after 60. We talked about blueberries, the tiny brain boosters that sharpen memory and protect your mind. Papaya, the tropical healer that soothes joints and calms inflammation. Pomegranate, the ruby red guardian of the heart and circulation. Oranges, bright defenders of your vision and immune system. Bananas, gentle helpers for digestion and steady energy. Apples, your sweet ally in balancing blood sugar and calming cravings. Kiwi, the small but mighty builder of strong bones. And finally, avocado, rich, nourishing, and the very fuel that keeps your heart, joints, and energy thriving. Each of these fruits supports a unique part of your health, in a way no supplement can fully replace. And the best part? They're simple. They're real. And they're waiting for you. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these fruits do you already eat regularly? Or maybe there's one you've been meaning to try, but just haven't yet? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And I love seeing what's helping you, inspiring you, or just making you feel good. If this video made you stop and think, even just a little, if it gave you a new idea to try for yourself, or reminded you of someone you love, then consider hitting that subscribe button. Because here at Elder Mature Moments, we're not just talking about aging. We're talking about thriving. We're building a space where growing older means growing wiser, stronger, and more intentional about how we care for ourselves and those around us. So thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. For showing up for yourself. For staying curious. And for believing, even just a little more today, in your body's ability to heal, to grow, and to keep going. Stay strong. Stay nourished. And remember, you're not just aging, you're evolving. I'll see you in the next Elder Mature Moment.